Alright guys, welcome to another beer review, and today we're going back over to Northern Monk and back to the Patrons Project, and this is Northern Monk Patrons Project 3.06 double IPA 8.9% with Citra, Mosaic, Eldorado and Simcoe, and this is a Whale of Two Cities brewed in collaboration with Equilibrium, who are out of New York I believe, and this is another collaboration that they've done with James Butler, who is of course a tattoo artist, and once again absolutely stunning artwork on this one. It's no secret by now that the Patrons Project is probably my favourite sort of brewing initiative slash project that's currently in motion within the world of brewing. Had some of my favourite beers of this year from this series. So of course it's another hazy juice bomb, as you would expect. Obviously a great play on the words there. They did the one with Finback, which I have reviewed. I'm sure I've had another one, but of course Equilibrium did the collaboration for the Patrons Project with, was it Infinity Vortex? That was Equilibrium. Can't remember one of my favourite beers of the year, but I still can't remember the breweries who did it, because I think it was like a three-way collaboration. I can't remember, but with that gorgeous artwork from Tank Petrol. But yeah, fantastic stuff, and yeah, wonderful artwork from a very talented tattoo artist indeed. So of course, as with all of these Patrons Project beers, I will quickly read the description. I'll let you see the label so you're not having to look at my wonky eye focusing on the writing while the other just stays perfectly still. Anyway, so Equilibrium Brewery combines research and inspiration to balance drinkability with massive flavour. They intend to make uncompromisingly great beer founded on scientific principles and a love for drinking craft beer. They brew what they love to drink and share with you. They maintain enough product control over distribution and turnover to ensure that you, the beer drinker, has the best beer experiences possible. All of their beers are unfiltered and unpasteurised, meaning that they are living, breathing, dynamic products that evolve over time, genuinely transitioning from bold to graceful. And James Butler is a tattoo artist from Bradford who started his tattooing career in Headingley in 2013, having dropped out of his fine art course at university, and has since been honing his craft in Leeds city centre. Tattooing usually with only black ink, his style focuses on creating contrast between solid black, fine lines, dots and negative space. While striving to create original artworks, James's roots and love of tattooing still lie firmly in the traditional Western tattooing styles with a modern ornamental twist. So of course a little bit about the beer itself with notes from the brewer, so we'll keep the artwork like that. So meeting the Equilibrium guys at Hop City, our Hop Forward Festival back in March, was one of the highlights of the year. Their dancing at the after party will live long in our memory, as was the beer we made together, Infinity Vortex, so I was correct. It was great to welcome back Will and Pete back to Leeds in October to get our brew on once again, and if it ain't broke. We decided straight away to brew another big double IPA, this time showcasing the brewhouse's favourite hops in the form of Mosaic and Citra. Totally behind that, by the way. We then paired that, that's not written, that's my own personal opinion, as if you didn't know. We then paired that time-honoured duo with the underrated Eldorado variety and classic citrus and pine notes from Simcoe lurking underneath. Expect a riot of tropical fruit flavours. I'll do it. You're not going to get anything but points for anyone who knows that reference. And yeah, expect a riot. Expect a riot of tropical fruit flavours over a classic smooth New England base packed with wheat and oats. So yeah. Spoiler alert, I've already drank this beer. Had it on tap at the refectory in Manchester this past weekend. Not that that makes a difference, because it won't be the past weekend by the time that I get this uploaded. Yeah, I had a half pint of it, or was it 2/3? Can't remember. And was absolutely loving it, even though I was sitting on my own on a chair that was about 2 inches off the floor, looking so bitch. Anyway, great beer, so I thought I'd pick up a can so I can do a review for the channel. And yeah, the refectory has become one of my favourite places to go in Manchester for drinking. Manchester, as we all know, is the greatest city in the world, so I won't go on about that any longer. But yeah, Northern Monk and the Patrons Project, I'm just repeating myself, so we'll cut that short. Anyway, beer in the glass then, and it's what you expect. Lovely haziness, but it's almost sort of dulled. It's not like a really bright and vibrant sort of New England style IPA, but it still looks bold and juicy. Almost has that sort of like peachy mango puree look to it. The light is really illuminating it nicely though on camera. But yeah, I mean, it's not as hazy as some of them. I'd imagine it's going to get a little bit hazy as we pour more in. But yeah, it's looking absolutely tremendous, isn't it? And beer poured about 1 finger's worth of a 1 finger white head with some slight sort of yellow discolorage. And if you get yellow discolorage like that, go see your doctor. Anyway, unnecessary. Just been drinking a 2-all beer as part of my 2-all advent calendar, and it's the first beer out of the box that I'm really not enjoying because guess what? It's a triple beer, and I don't like Belgian styles all that much. Anyway, as I'm uploading this, from what I can remember, the 2-all series is already in full effect. Anyway, looks good. Let's give it a bit of a sniffy niffy. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, lovely citrusy tones coming out of that one. Blending beautifully with that mango tropical vibe. It's definitely got that sort of like dank fried onions sort of aroma as well. And that almost like slight dank green vegetative character you get from stuff like broccoli or cabbage, that sort of thing. Cauliflower as well. Do you know what I mean? That sort of like earthiness, which is strangely satisfying, but if it's too much, it's absolutely rank. This is just absolutely bang on. So it's a little bit resiny, fruity. Citrus is just jumping out of the glass. I mean, Citra is one of my all-time favourite hops, so it's wonderful. You're getting the characteristics of all those hops. I mean, although Eldorado, I'm not too familiar with Eldorado, but you're getting that sort of like dank cat litter sort of thing from the Simcoe. The Mosaic is just giving all of that tropical flavour, and that citrusiness just giving that little bit of acidity that's cutting through it all, and it's smelling absolutely peng. So I'll never use that word again, but let's give it a taste. Cheers, guys. That's so good. I was loving it at the refectory, but this just has a bit more character to it. That being said, when I was at the refectory, that was towards the end of my supposed shopping trip, which was just going from bar to bar with the odd shop in between, buying clothes and stuff. This just seems to have a bit more oomph to it this time round. When I was drinking at the refectory, it was a bit more smoother, a bit more sweeter, a bit more vibrant, but this, it's got a really strong bitterness to it, which I really like. But you're still getting that tropical flavour. It's undercut beautifully with a sharp citrusy tone. That almost Simcoe flavour is giving you that sort of dank edge as well. It's not the boldest of bodies for these sorts of beers, so it's not big, brash and in your face. It's just two breweries who are doing wonders for this style of beer, really honing it in and not going too far in one given direction, because there's a really big, bold flavour there, but it's also balanced as well. And I think that's a sign of great brewing. when you can get balance, but you've still got bold flavours in there. And that thing I was talking about with like the cauliflower and the broccoli. It sounds weird describing it, but when you've had those flavours in these IPAs, it is very green, generally, but not in that sort of like harsh beers too young sort of green. It's like you've stewed down like the stems of broccoli. Do you know what I mean? It's got that almost savoury flavour to it. Fried onions, bit of garlic. It's got some West Coast sensibility in there as well. Don't know where that came from. But yeah, that's... I said I wasn't going to use this word again, but I feel like I should. It's absolutely peng. Fucking hell. Who legitimately uses words like that? Do you know what I mean? Anyway. Oh, look at that. Naughty, naughty boy. Anyway. Just look at it. It's a thing of beauty in this pretentious but beautiful glass. Not too sweet, not too bitter. Just beautifully balanced. And an absolute knockout once again. It's drinking so much easier than the ABV would lead you to believe. Which is both a godsend and a burden. But yeah, this one of those beers that you could just be drinking, and next thing you know, you've devoured like 3 or 4 cans of it, and you're buzzing. Do you know what I mean? It's a lovely beer. Still, you know, Infinity Vortex is the one to beat for me personally, and it's looking like that could be my favourite beer of the year. But yeah, this is a wonderful beer also. So in terms of a rating then, for A Whale of Two Cities, great name, I'm going to give it a very solid 9 out of 10. Wish I'd have picked up a couple of cans. I would say this is a weird beer, because I've noticed this a little bit with some of the beers I've had on tap at Northern Monk and then having the can. You do sometimes get some subtle differences, but then at the same time you do get quite different drinking experiences as well. Not in like a lack of consistency way, but of course in the way that, you know, the beer is presented. And yeah, another knockout, 9 out of 10. Go check out Northern Monk, go check out Equilibrium, check out James Butler, check out my Patrons Project playlist, check out anybody else who's reviewed this one, because I'd imagine Rob would have reviewed this long before I did. Yeah, Northern Monk, one of my favourite breweries of this year. Patrons Project, one of my favourite beer series of this year. And yeah. I'm getting a little bit of sherbet sort of flavour, but I'm going to stop there because I've gone on for long enough. So if you have tried it, then let me know your thoughts, opinions. What are your thoughts, opinions on these sorts of beers and the beers from Patrons Project or both breweries? And yeah, cheers for watching, and I shall hopefully see you all later. Cheers. How many times did I say cheers in the space of 2 minutes? I don't know.